Yeah.
Hey,
Hello.
hello, hello. I'm glad to meet you online.
Same here. Same here. And I thought maybe there is some connection because I could not read what was coming. It was in, I think, Romanian. It's Romanian, right?
Yes.
So I could not understand. I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I
Mm.
disconnected twice to connect again.
Okay. Okay, I don't know why in Romanian, because it's Zoom.
Yeah, normally it just connects when you write, you click on the thing, it just connects. But
Yeah.
it kept on taking me to test the microphone. So I was like,
Um, I see. I see. Um, uh, I'm not so good in English language, but I hope to understand each other.
okay, yes,
I sent you before the questions.
yes.
If you want, we can follow those questions or other things. If it's depend what
No,
you
it's
choose.
absolutely fine. I like those questions. No,
Perfect.
those questions are really good. Yeah, I really appreciated the type of questions. The format is very good.
Mhm.
So I'm quite okay. If you want to go through the same format, it's absolutely fine with me.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Let's start with questions. It is okay for you.
Okay, yes.
The first one. You have had many realizations, many achievements. How did you accomplish this? What is your secret?
Well, there is no secret to any success formula. It just lies in you, how you see yourself as a person, and what are your dreams, what are your aspirations. So, the more you start realizing, the more you start going deep into those criterias, the more your horizon becomes bigger. So once you see what you're looking for, you get those things, you move further. So it's like one step at a time, like taking baby steps. We are not in a hurry, because when you're in a hurry, you always mess it up. It's not okay.
But if somebody don't know what they want,
Mhm.
what to do in this situation, how can discover what we want?
See, everyone has some special things or some inner aspirations that they're looking for. Like, as a kid, you're like, oh, I want to become a teacher, or I want to become a doctor. So everyone has those aspirations within oneself. And as you grow, you are a teenager, you mature, you are an adult, so you start realizing what are the things that impress you, or what makes you feel accomplished. And once you go deeper into those areas, then you will start discovering yourself. Because as I said, there is no set formula. So the more you discover, the more you see, going to charities gives me happiness, so you start doing those things more. It's normal. As a kid, I never knew I'm going to be a speaker. It just happened. It was just something that just happened, and I started liking it, so I took it further. So it's the task of every person to discover what he likes. And if it's taking time, as you said, if people don't know what they want to do, which is very natural, it does happen. So they just need to give it some time, and with passage of time, he or she will get an idea that this is something that interests me, and he can take it further.
Okay, because I met a lot of people which
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they want, and they
Mm-hmm.
ask me, how can I discover, how can I realize what I want?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very normal. It's very, very normal. Such things do happen, but as I said, it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen in a day, or it doesn't happen by itself. It's a gradual process, and as we discover, as we go more into it, we see the happiness, or we see the feeling of accomplishment. So the more you feel that, the more it takes close to your goal.
Yes. In this period, a lot of people are confused. They don't know what will happen, and how can I recommend you to handle this confusion?
Well, COVID-19 has been a really very, very drastic and strange kind of pandemic with which whole world is kind of shaking. The whole world is in a state of shock. There are many people who don't know what to do about it. So it's a state where no one is prepared. It is something unexpected. And that's the reason people are kind of scared, and some are angry, some even don't know. And I had started one kids empowerment series where I was trying to talk to kids from 7 years to 17 years. And I noticed, I was taking interviews of these kids, and I noticed that some of them were very comfortable with it. It's like, don't do this, don't do that, like, something which they were learning from the school, repeating it and taking precautions, they were okay. But when I started writing an article, I'm in the phase of writing an article, there I increased the age group from 14 to 25. And in that phase, I noticed there are some people who have got under depression, young people. They are under depression because they have not left the house for almost a month. So it's confusing. It's like, they're very stressed. What do? I have not stepped out of the house. I have not seen my family. I have not seen my friends. Some of them, they are in boarding, so they have not been able to return to their home. So they are in, they're still in isolation, living in the hostels or places like this. So I guess in these kind of situations, one has to keep calm, because we are all going through an emotional phase. It's like a roller coaster. So we are all going through an emotional phase. My way of dealing with this is use your emotional intelligence. Try to know yourself. Don't think of this period as a period of isolation or complete social distancing. It's not social distancing in terms of like, okay, you're not there with the person, you're not touching the person, or you're not hugging a person, but you can have emotional connection. It's not emotional distancing, it's social distancing. So you're not meeting the people, but connect with the people. Like today, I'm talking to you, you sitting there so far away, and I'm here in Switzerland, and we're talking for something productive. So this is my message to almost all the people listening out there, that don't isolate yourself from everything. You have to discover yourself. Give this time as your self investment time. So discover yourself, discover your advantages, strengths, weaknesses. So those are the things that you think are your strengths. You try to develop them further, and the things that you feel are like your weaknesses, or you're not sure, or as you said, some people are not clear what they want to do. Maybe they can use this time to discover and take it further.
Yes, from your experience, what is the biggest fear of people in this period of time, and how can we handle it? How can we overcome it?
I think the biggest fear of the people is uncertainty. They don't know where they are going. There's a lot of what we call anxiety. There's a lot of fear of unknown. You are used to going to office, you're used to going to school, so your habits are broken. The chain of habits have been broken. So when this happens, some people, they just accept it and they change, they bring about a change. And it's those people who know their self, who have that internal connection with themselves. But those who are not sure about it, they go in the phase where they are angry, where they keep on thinking, what next, what next? So instead of discovering, or instead of giving some time to know something else, they keep on going in circles. And it's very normal that people are going through fear of unknown, through uncertainty, because there are a lot of people who have been away from the families. I know a couple of people, who are going to have a child, but the husband is in Germany and wife is in India. Or some people, they have not been like living very close to the parents, but the kids are not able to see their grandparents, because they are scared that they can get an infection. So it's very normal. People need to educate themselves all the time. Keep reading, keep watching information, but don't do over. Because when you overwatch and you overread, then that makes you confused. And then you go in circles again. So I think it's best, take information in bits and pieces, and you keep on reinventing yourself. I think that's going to help more people.
Mm-hmm. Uh, you are in Switzerland. You are from India.
Yes.
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 How can you interconnect those two cultures, the Indian culture and the European culture, especially the Swiss culture?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, in the beginning, it was a little difficult. I had a cultural shock when I came to Switzerland because, it's portrayed very beautifully in the movies. So, you always have those kind of ideas, it's this, it's that. But actually, when I came here, I was in a state of shock for some time because of the language. I didn't speak the language. And I live in the French speaking area of Switzerland. So here they speak French, which I had never spoken in my life. So it was very, very difficult. As well as the people in India, people are very warm. The moment you see someone, the moment you start talking to somebody, you start thinking of him or her as a family or some kind of social connection, which was not there in Switzerland. So when I did come here, these were the basic, I would say, hiccups that I faced, which was having emotional connection with the people not happening very quickly. It took some time. Language problems, and of course, with passage of time, gradually it took me a lot of time, but gradually I found my own circle of people with whom I started meeting on a regular basis. So I started teaching them English, and they started teaching me French.
Mm-hmm.
So I made my women networks, because in the beginning I was working, like I have always worked part-time, I've never worked full-time. So I always keep some time specifically clearly for my family and my social commitments.
Mm-hmm.
So because everyone works for money, that is important, but at the end of the day, if you can depute some time separately for yourself, for your family, or for giving back to the society, I think that's very, very important. So I found some women groups where we would integrate people coming from different cultures, like people coming from Romania. Also, I have some friends from Romania, people coming from
Right.
Arabic countries or other cultures. And we would learn from each other's culture, the do's and don'ts, the positive things. And at the same time, keep our culture alive, keep our culture very, very strong and very integrated, which is very important for the future generation also. Because as a mother, as a woman, it's very important that you need to take it further so that your children are aware of it. Because if you don't do, the connection gets lost, the connection gets broken. So as a mother, I think it's additional responsibility of all women to educate the children about their culture. So, and I can proudly say that my kids are very well connected to their roots, to the Indian culture. And at the same time, they have very well integrated to the Swiss culture. So we celebrate everything. Whenever it's any festival, we celebrate everything and try to make it more meaningful so that kids are not confused.
From a point of view, you had some feelings like in this period, in that beginning.
I didn't understand in your question, like what kind of feelings are you talking about?
Like insecurity, you don't or you didn't know what will happen with your future, with your next month, next week, and so on, like today.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, uncertainty is it's very normal because when we started thinking of living here for good, for like taking Switzerland as our home, we had uncertainty and we always thought that if it doesn't work, we'll go back to India. That was always plan B. But we never even once thought that there will be a time that it will be confusing or it will not be clear. The course of action was very clear, but still you are never sure. Sometimes it may not work as you have planned.
Mhm.
So in those situations, yes, it's normal. We also had some stages where we were not sure what is going to happen. And I think most of the time it was because of the parents, because our parents, they live in India. So it was just because of parents, we were always like half 50-50, half drawn. Should we stay here? Should we go back? I think that's the only thing we are always concerned about, connection with our parents.
Mhm.
But otherwise, me and my husband together, we kind of worked together and made it good. and we are still enjoying living over here.
Mhm. I'm glad. What was the most painful lesson that you learned during your life? In what context do you learn that lesson?
I would say the most painful time I can see it's right now during COVID. For me, this is really a painful situation because I feel my parents are in India. You know, our parents, both me and my husband's parents, are in India. They are kind of helpless. You know, we feel helpless because we can neither go there and neither bring them here. So this has been the most helpless and most painful time for our family, especially. I'm sure there are a lot of people who will recognize or who will resonate with my feelings, because when we see the news and we see how people are suffering, and we see how people are kind of, because of social distancing, not able to see their loved ones, it's very painful. And especially for our children, we talk to our parents every day. Especially for the children, when they see the grandparents, that they are at home, and even for basic things like medicine, they have to call a particular number and ask them to get the medicine home. It's little bit painful. It's a very painful situation. So I think it's just a passage of time. We just say that it's a passage of time, fingers crossed. Just as it came unexpectedly, it will go soon. So we are just hopeful that it doesn't stay long and it goes away, and we have our good days again.
Mm-hmm. And how can we increase our confidence and increase the hope and maintain it during this period of time?
See, maintaining hope is totally up to you, what you are thinking, what you are going. As I said, that even I'm going through a lot of emotional imbalance in terms of my parents being there. For other people, it could be staying away from the families. Like a lot of doctors, they're staying away from their families so that they don't give infection to their families. So there are a lot of people who are going through these kind of phases, but until unless you don't help yourself, no one can help you. Mm-hmm. So I just feel that, we shouldn't be heartbroken. We should not be completely withdrawn. We have to keep our things going, as a normal routine, with a change, little bit of a change, that, okay, this is something which is situational, which is something momentarily, and it will pass by. So it all depends on you, how you take each step, keep on doing your activities, and utilize on those areas which you always thought, but you were never able to do. You must be thinking, I'll do painting someday, or I'll start sketching someday, or I'll go back playing piano someday. So maybe you can use this time to do those kind of things, or help the society, help people. If you are fit and fine, if you're healthy, maybe you can enroll yourself in your community and help the older people or the people who are suffering, by becoming a volunteer, which I'm encouraging more and more people to do. I'm trying to do it from my side as well. Whatever you can give back to the society, whatever you can do for the betterment of the society, don't think twice. Just do it. Just go for it, and keep making yourself more and more useful. Because the more your mind is occupied, the more you will develop. The more you will not think about the bad things. You'll not become pessimistic. But the more you keep thinking what will happen, what is going to happen, then your brain is like a devil. It starts playing games. Because if you feel sick, if you feel sad, you become more sad. So that's where emotional intelligence comes to action again. Think positive, be more and more productive, and keep on believing in yourself that I can do this, I can do that, and keep helping. The more and more you give, it will bring happiness in you. And most probably this phase will go, and you will not even know that this happened at one point of time.
Can you tell me some or a couple of things you don't recommend people do in this period of time?
Well, as I said, this is a very, very unusual period where no one was prepared about. So do not go into depression. Do not be just by yourself. It is social distancing, not emotional distancing. So try to connect with people via Zoom or via technology. We are at the best, we are at the peak of technological era. So try to use technology for betterment. Connect with more and more people. Do things that give you happiness. Because if you are withdrawn, if you keep yourself in a closed room, you'll become more depressed. So please don't distance yourself from the people emotionally. Try to connect more and more. Do reading. Do something that makes you feel accomplished. Do something that makes you feel better and developed. But do not read too much. Do not watch too much TV. Because when the news is all about sick people, so many people dying, so many people not well, you become more depressed. So do not go on media too much, because the more and more you go on media which is just showing negative things or pessimistic things, you will become one. So make sure that you give some time with nature. Just go out in the nature, meditate, because that also makes you feel to yourself. I think as an Indian, because our mythology always takes us back to meditation, I think it's really the best way to know yourself. So whatever your points are, or whatever your areas are that are gray areas, or you are always scared of those areas, try to work on them so that you are able to develop yourself better.
I told to my friend, it's not a social distance, it's a physical distance. Let's say a physical distance, not social distance, because I feel it's not a really social distance, it's a physical distance. And it's a different approach and different mindset things. If you say physical distance, not social distance.
Very true, very true.
Which is a reality. It's a physical distance. Have you had moments during your journey when you have wanted to give up? When and why? And how you overcame that moment?
There was a period in my life where I became very, I would say, weak. I became a bit disillusioned. I was working as an academic dean of an institution here in Switzerland. And suddenly the institution decided to change from the age group of, they decided to change completely what they were offering. So I was the dean of the business section, the degree section, where we have the BBA, Bachelor's in Business Administration. And the school decided to change completely from bachelor's to high school. So they had a complete change. The age group of students became from 10 to 15 years. And I had been dealing with students from 18 to sometimes 30 years. So it was a complete change. And they started telling people to bring about a lot of changes. They wanted more and more people to work full time. And I had always worked part time. I had always done all those responsibilities partly from home. So it was a very, very big decision I had to take to step down as a dean, even though I was in a top management level. But I thought maybe it's the time to change, to move on. So I was very, very sad, very low. Emotionally, I was a bit low because I had to step down from such a big post. But then I think it took me around 5 to 6 months to recover again, because I thought if it was supposed to happen, it has happened, so I should not make this break me down. Emotionally, I might be a bit unstable. Emotionally, maybe I'm not feeling so good because I have to step down from such a good position. But if God willing, if I have something, or if I have the will, if I have the willpower to succeed, to move on, maybe something better is waiting for me. So I moved on, and it was like almost it's been 6 years that it happened. Roughly 2007. No, it's been 7 years that it happened. And now I think maybe it was for betterment, because all I had been doing before was teaching, having my classes, being a mentor to students. But that phase brought about a change in my life. I started reinventing myself. I started moving out. I started connecting more with people. And probably now I think what happened was for a betterment, because now I'm not just a teacher or the dean, which I was in the corporate section, but now I've moved from that to something more meaningful. I became a motivational speaker. I started going to different countries, being invited not just to talk about one thing, but talk about so many things which always interested me. So now I am not just a mentor in a school, which I had been doing for so many years, but now I'm mentor to so many international students whom I got connected through platforms like Women Economic Forum, United Nations, Bahrain, there were a lot of places, India, where I got invited. So that phase made me weak. And now when I look back, I think I emerged stronger. It was like a roller coaster. It was like a block that came, God invented that. And when I brushed with that block, I was shaken up. I was scared. I was emotionally broken. But I think that made me stronger to emerge back and do something which I always thought I would do, but I never had the courage. I never had the courage to leave a full-time job like that and focus on something else, on a more meaningful area. And now I'm so happy that I started my YouTube channel where I'm training people worldwide on women empowerment as well as emotional intelligence. So my life has changed so much, and I'm so happy that it happened at that point of time. It made me weak, but I emerged stronger with that thing that happened just 7 years ago. And now it looks as if it's been a long time, though it's just 7 years.
From that moment, what new belief, behavior, or habit that has most improved your life, and how?
Now that is not the same. As I said, now it's not the same person. I don't feel as the same person what I was back then. I feel more evolved. I feel more strong. And I've started believing more in the power of happiness and giving. Before, it was my family, my work, my parents, everything was my, I need to take care of my family because that was priority at that time. My children were smaller. So that was priority. I had to give and take care of them as a protective mom or as a protective daughter. But now I feel all those situations made me a better person, much better person. And I'm so happy and fortunate that I'm able to help so many people. People on LinkedIn are contacting me, people on Facebook, on my professional page, they're contacting me. And it feels so good when they write messages like, my daughter thinks of you as a role model, or I want my son to be like you, or I want my daughter to lead a life, what you're doing in a foreign country, to do like you. So these are something which make me feel happy and more satisfied. I feel that I have accomplished what I always wanted to do. Of course, I say there's much more to do. I still have to do miles and miles, but these are just small steps that are making me feel more happy and satisfied with the things that are happening in life.
I see. Another question. What and when was your biggest aha moment?
Aha moment, I would say, was when my daughter was born, the very first child of our family. When she was born, that was really an aha moment for us. Having a new life in my hand was completely like, wow. I think it's the best moment for any woman can have, seeing that you created it. It's your fresh and blood. So yes, it was a very, very emotional moment and the happiest moment of my life. And I still say it made me evolve and connect with my kid more and feel that if you are the one who's giving life, then you need to preserve life as well. So it was a lesson learned at the same moment when I had her in my hands.
A nice moment.
Yes.
Yes. Can you explain what it's emotional intelligence in a few words?
Emotional intelligence, I would say, is knowing yourself first. It can be explained by understanding your personal competence and then linking it to the social competence. So when we say personal competence, it's like what you're good at. So if I'm good at speaking, I would try to speak and practice it so many times that I become confident. And then I would speak outside the house. That is social competence. That like now I feel I'm good enough to talk to the people outside, and then you start connecting. So it's knowing yourself first and then connecting with others. Because once you know yourself better, you can help others develop those skills or maintain those skills, so that it's a win-win for both you as well as the other people. So emotional intelligence is just connecting with people, showing empathy, showing you understand them, you understand their state of mind. Because the more you connect, the more you empathize with the people around you, world will become much beautiful. You are not acting like a dictator, you're not acting like an autocrat, but you're acting as a people's person. And I think that's the best way to get work done, either by your children, at workplace, with your employees, with your people who are working below you, anyone and everyone. World becomes much more beautiful place when we connect with each other on an emotional basis.
Mm-hmm. How can we look at our emotional intelligence in this period of time?
In this period of time, we need to be practicing emotional intelligence even more, because we are all going through an emotional roller coaster. We are all going through a chain of reactions which we even don't know. Today we are happy, sad, excited, angry. Too many emotions are happening. Mm-hmm. So as a person, I think you need to control those emotions very well. You need to have a hang of those emotions in such a way that you are happy. And at the same time, you understand it yourself first. It's not like if I tell you, be happy, and I'm not happy myself. Mm-hmm. So it is important that you need to practice it more and more, knowing yourself. That is the first step. And then connecting with the outer world. And that we can actually do virtually also now. Thanks to technology, that people are dancing, people are doing meditations, people are doing so many things virtually. So the world is becoming smaller. So practicing EI by using technology.
Yes, nice. How can we look beyond insecurity and anxiety in this period of time?
See, as I already said, we don't have to be scared. We don't have to be withdrawn from the situation. We have to think of it as it is. So accept the situation, what we are going through. And on the basis of the parameters that you're facing now, keep on exploring, keep on developing. Because if you're scared, or if you are angry, or if you are withdrawn, as I said, if you sit in your room and think, if I close my eyes, I don't see anything, it's not reality. It's not true. Because by closing your eyes, you're just ignoring the situation. You're not doing anything to help it out or solve the problem. So it is better to see the situation very well and take charge of the situation. Do not ignore it. Do not rush it or keep it away. Take charge of the situation by doing things that you like, by accepting things that you always wanted to do, but you never had the time to do. So this is your time. Use this time to discover those things and work over your anxiety, work over your emotional resilience. Because if you are resilient, you can fight any situation. And then you will say, it's just a virus. That's what I write and tell most of my students. It's just a virus. You just need to take precautions. It's a virus that has shaken up the whole world. We agree it's strong, it's bad, but that doesn't leave the hope away. You have to be still hopeful and be more resilient so that you can face the situation and cover your anxieties or manage your anxieties for betterment.
And a personal question. What is your biggest secret you haven't said to someone until now in your career and achievements?
Okay, when you say what is your biggest secret, then secret is always a secret.
Yes, it's true.
There are a lot of things which people think I would say this someday, or I would keep it for someday, for one special day. But I always tell all my friends, all my relatives, and even my children,
Mm.
have a secret for yourself. Okay, do things which give you happiness. So be a very, very open person. You can have a secret like one day I want to go on Mars, that kind of a secret. Or one day I want to go on the top of the mountain, a particular mountain which is very, very high. But do not have secrets which you are keeping just for saying, don't say it to anyone. It's a secret. I teach my children this all the time, when they were small and even now. Never keep any secrets from anyone. If it's a secret for the betterment of the society, great, keep it. But if it is something that you are keeping and saying, don't tell it to anyone, it's between me and you, that means it is not good. So be a transparent person. I always feel that we have to be transparent. We have to be open. And anything which is your secret fantasy or your secret desire, that should always be your secret.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's true. It's true. If you have a motto, I don't know, you have a motto or a quote for this period of time, or a message for people.
Mm-hmm. You mean for the time that we are facing now, COVID time, or in general?
Both. Let's say both. Your
Okay.
choice.
All right. So I would just say that I always say this in all my quotes, and I always plea to all the people: education, a continuous mission of my life. This is something that I always dreamed about. This is something I lived, and I'm still living on it. Don't give up on education. Keep on educating yourself every day, every day. And with education, I don't mean your degrees. I mean any kind of life situation, any kind of education that makes you feel better. So during Corona, if you see, a lot of people are taking so many courses of what to do and what not to do. There are a lot of universities that are offering free certificate programs about how to combat Corona, what can be done to keep this virus away. So this is also a part of education. You
Mm-hmm.
keep on learning new things, keep on training your brain. That's called training your brain. So keep on training your brain every day, because if you think I have enough, I have achieved what I wanted to, you stop living, because then you have reached your saturation. So do not give up on that. Keep on educating and make it your mission in life. Because if you have a particular mission, you will work for it all the time. So my mission for life is education. And I want everyone to educate on new things, on life lessons. It's not just, as I said, not just bookish lessons. It could be life lessons. Staying positive, thinking positive, thinking like if you're a person who's very much into sustainability or nature, so go green. So whatever interests you, educate yourself in that area so much that you are consistently evolving. Because if you do it with once, you feel that boom, it's like you're up there. Keep on doing it, taking baby steps, consistently keep on educating yourself, and never give up. Never say never.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, for your answers. Was a pleasure to have a conversation with you. Was a good time for me. I don't know if for you was a good time, but for me was a good time. And if you want to say something now in the final.
I would just say everyone to keep your cool. Okay, do not be scared of anything. It is just a passing phase. Just be positive, believe in yourself, because the more you believe in yourself, you will evolve better. You'll be a better person. You'll be much more enthusiastic about life, and never give up. As I said, I was almost go, but that was my turning point. So you never know. This could be the turning point of your life. Think of this phase at that phase that can bring about a change and make you a better person and a happy person.
Hmm. In my opinion, many people, they need this period of time. They don't know they need, but they need this period.
Very true, very true. They're not sure, they're just going in the negative side. But if you see the positive side, there are a lot of positive sides also. So this all remains on you as a person, how you can think positive in even in a negative situation.
Yes, yes, it's true. It's true.
Because if you don't, if you keep on thinking negative, you will become a more negative person, you'll become more pessimistic person. So this is a negative situation, it is viral, it's something that everyone is kind of shaken up, but utilize this in doing something positive, doing something more creative, that gives you a meaning to your life.
Yes, yes. I feel like I can continue this interview until next month with you. It's a pleasure to discuss with you.
It's really a pleasure for inviting me, Christian, because when we exchanged the messages and when you gave me this wonderful opportunity, I said, if it's for the betterment of society, if it's for the betterment of the people, why not? I
Yes,
think more and more like-minded people should come together to educate or share their pearls of wisdom, whatever they are good at or whatever is their expertise. I think if more and more people start sharing things on a platform, life will become a much a better place and world will be a better place to live.
yes, it's true.